I think so. Yeah.
Like, just talking about the struggle, dude. Like, I remember asking one in like, if you, what felt like a year. It was probably like September. Um, I was like, I want a scooter, mom. I want a scooter, dad. I want a scooter. We want a scooter. We want a scooter. Me and my brother, I want a scooter. And like, I remember that first scooter that freaking hit me in my shin, and I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. um,
Razor.
the Razor. But I remember getting a scooter for the first time. I don't even remember if it was a Razor or not, or what. But I remember getting a scooter and being one of like the most happiest kids out there, being like, damn, dude, like, and I think I forgot how old I was. Maybe like 7 or 8. Um, thinking at that point, being like, wow, like my parents denied me for the longest, saying no because they couldn't afford it, because I mean, we were going through some stuff, and then um somehow my dad was able to like pull it out and gave both my brother and I scooters. And I think that's the some of the points where I started realizing and kind of start thinking different, where I'm like, oh, things aren't things don't come as easy as I think they do, right?
Hmm.
Like, again, growing up from like two parents from that immigrated from Mexico, um, and like realizing that young, I'm saying like serious, like 6 or 7, maybe 8, um, realizing I'm like, man, I have to work my ass off to get where I want to be, you know. And um, I mean, that's what's triggered everything later on. Me dropping out of sports to start working, me doing decisions, and that's how I met Durrell. Like, just trying to work and better myself. I think like little things like that were like one of the reasons of why today for me, I'm like, man, like there's certain stuff that I want to do and I want to have, you know, and I have to just work for it, you know. And
Yeah.
um I mean, I think I didn't really travel or reap any of my I guess success until I was like 24, 25. You know, I mean, you took one trip, um I think, since I've known you, right, Daryl? And
My
that was because,
honeymoon.
yeah, and that was your honeymoon. You know, I took a little bit
Yeah.
more. I've obviously taken a little bit more, but yeah. I mean, what for you? What have you done? Well, what I guess at what point in your life did you realize you're like, oh shit, I need to work harder to get the
It
stuff that I
was
want?
it was very early on, and I credit that to my grandfather.
Why?
Um, because he would use, like, for example, a punishment was like doing yard work, and on the weekends, whatever needed to be done around the house, like real manual labor, like building a brick fence, like
Yeah.
repairing a fence, laying concrete. Um, oh yeah,
You're a Mexican.
um, learning how to replace the brakes on a car, like, and this is at like 8, 10 years old, learning how to do all these things.
Yeah.
Um, and my attitude was, I'm willing to help and learn. Here and there, because you're a kid, you want to play. I
Yeah.
would complain, but not as much as like my cousin. Um,
Which cousin?
because we all grew up. I'm not calling people out here.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
um,
No names, no names.
uh, uh, that messed me up, dude. My thought process there.
Oh, good, oh, good.
um,
Your cousin,
uh,
you and your cousin.
yeah, because someone would complain more, about having to do work, like, and I'll give an example of, like, teaching someone a lesson, like when they're young. Move this pile of bricks over here to make them a organized pile over here, and it's like, what's the point? and
The boys are your
and
punishment.
well, yes, but also to make it organized, make it presentable, right? It doesn't need to be just stacks and all over the place and a huge mess. Like if someone comes into the backyard and has to see these bricks not laid yet, at least they're stacked neatly. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that instilled that hard work ethic into me early on. I definitely credit that as well as my mom, because uh, she worked to the point where it was like no vacations, no lunch breaks, to the point where it was bad. It affected her health, where she got skin ulcers from stress.
Damn.
So, yeah, I don't think I ever told you that.
I never knew that. And I know
Yeah,
his mom very very well. She's hooked it up with great food, and she's so nice.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I love my mom. And that was when I was in college, and because she got sick through that as well. Um, I was running track, had a part-time job, full-time college student, and I was starting a part-time business. So I had a full plate while I was going to college, and that was to the point where I was like, I have to drop out of college and work full-time to help my mom get better. So that's what I did. I moved her into my place and helped her, you know, what needed to be done to get her healthy back. She's doing great now, but it was a difficult time to go through. So I moved her into my place, and I moved back in with my grandparents so I could, you know, help her get better. Um, so tremendous work ethic that I learned from both my grandfather and my mom, big time. My dad as well, just in a different way. My dad had his own business, Robert's Tile.
I
So
didn't
he's
know
a
that.
carpenter. Yeah, so he's a carpenter by trade. So he could do everything from electrical, tile was his specialty. That's how he opened up his own business as Robert's Tile.
This episode is
Um,
brought to you by Robert Style. Just FYI.
no longer, but
Oh,
um, yeah. So he went through the stresses of being a business owner as well. And that affected our family in different ways too. But I would go to work with him like during the summer.
mm-hmm.
So I learned how to like cut tile, mix cement, do all the stuff, lay the tile work with cement, the gravel, all that stuff. So I learned manual work from my dad as well, working on different jobs with him as well, doing like tile work in in the kitchen and a bathroom, um, laying tile outside in a like by the pool, like all this crazy stuff
So
I did
so
as well.
so what you're saying is that I look Mexican, but you work like one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never. I think like the most work outside type of. So I had a couple obviously jobs as growing up. One was that I can remember right off the bat was the as the youngest one is just like washing cars, and then I moved into like setting up jumping houses, setting up that business and all that up. So I was the one picking them up, but dropping them off and all that stuff. Um, but the one I guess job that I had like actual manual labor that I only lasted a couple days was what I don't know what they call it in I don't know how to say this in English. In Spanish, it's called el chabacano,
Hmm.
which is pretty much where they get like peaches, full circle. They get
Wow.
peaches. We went to so they had peaches, and what we would do is we would cut them in half, and then they would pretty much dry them out, um, to pretty much be able to sell them. Right? I don't know where they were selling them. I just remember, yeah, you had to wake up at 3 in the morning, and I was like 15, and
Hmm.
no, younger. I was like 13 because it's like right before I actually was working. I was like 13, and so waking up at 3 in the morning. I remember like you're given a knife, and to cut these in half, lay them out flat so when the sun hits it and dries it up. I remember lasting that day, and I was like, nah, I'm whatever I have to do. I'm not working out here. Like, this is not what I'm doing. Like, that I guess it was a really good lesson. My parents, my dad primarily probably did this. He's like, all right, just learn how to do manual labor. My brother was like, my younger brother, he was like, it's whatever. You know, for me, I was like, nope, I can't wake up at 3 in the morning. I can't, like, I mean, I'll do it, but I'm not doing this manual labor. Um, it's I was like, it's not in my wheelhouse.
Guys, thank you guys for coming out again. Appreciate you guys liking and subscribing if you guys haven't already.